Hello, you've probably just come from watching my Daypole Pug video. And if you haven't, well, clearly you want to see a J13 / J52. I think in the Pug video I said it was a J53. Anyway, so you clearly want to see this more than you want to see a Pug, which is absolutely fine. So, Hornby Railways J13. It's a J13 because it's in the Great Northern Railway livery. So, and it was originally called a J13. It was later classified as a J52 by the LNER. So let's just get that out of the way. Anyway, so here is the lovely model. But we're not going to look at that yet. We're going to look at the box, because that's more exciting apparently. Here we go. The sleeve, not the sleeve, the picture is in upside down, or the box is upside down, whichever one I say. Anyway, so it's an authentic 00 scale model, Great Northern Railway Class J13 060 saddle tank, with crew and vacuum pipes. I've fitted the vacuum pipes, but not the crew yet. Anyway, so if we turn the box upside down. 00 gauge scale models, Hornby Railways. It's a nice little box, this actually. R396. Obviously the guy who I bought, or my family member who I told to buy this. Anyway, so the guy who we got this off must have put mint in box, I'm guessing. I don't know, something like that. Great Northern Railway, basically what I said. But if you notice, that's right way up, and if you flip it, oh, for some reason I thought that was upside down. I must have been an idiot and read it wrong. Anyway, 00 gauge scale models, not recommended for children under 36 months. Wow, they must start early. Anyway, so there's the box. It's that really terrible polystyrene in there. So let's get to the beautiful model itself. For a second-hand model, I must admit, I got this and the Pug from the same guy. Whaley, whatever you want to call it. So I got them from the same guy, and he must really look after his models. Either that or he polished them up really well and serviced them before he gave them away. But the linkage on this, for a model that, I don't know any dates exactly, but it's probably rather old, considering it was still made in England in Margate. It's probably, I'd say maybe about 30 years. I might be wrong, I might be way off, but it's so shiny, to put it simply. Anyway, the Great Northern Railway Class J13. The Great Northern Railway GNR Class J13, classified J52 by the LNER, a class of 060 saddle tank, steam locomotive, intended primarily for shunting. The Class J13 were introduced in 1897, designed by Henry Ivett, so the guy, should I say, who made stuff like the Ivett 2MT, 3MT, 4MT, yeah, I don't know if there's a 5MT, there might be, I don't know. Fury was Fowler. Anyway, so them. I think he also made. Yes, I think he made the Great Northern Railway Atlantic class. I could be wrong. Anyway, so it was built by Henry Ivett, based on the earlier domeless Great Northern Railway J14. So it would have looked like this, but with no dome, apparently a J14. Or later reclassified by the LNER as a J53. So the J14 was a J53. 85 J13s were built up to 1909, and several J14s were rebuilt as J13s from 1922. So yeah, I think that's all you pretty much need to know about the backstory of the class, and now the actual engine itself, which is owned by the National Railway Museum. Pretty much everything I've just said, built by year. Date made was 1899, and location at the minute is the National Rail Museum in the Station Hall. Now, I missed it the last time I went to the National Rail Museum, which was for the Great Gathering. I've got a video on my channel if you'd like to go see it. But I missed it because I didn't know exactly where it was. But apparently before at Railfest I managed to see it, but I just wasn't that interested in it. However, that someone came through the door. So anyway, however, this locomotive is very important, as it was the first privately owned locomotive, so it's the first ever preserved engine, 1247, and I'm surprised they haven't got it up and running again. I really don't. Anyway, so onto the model itself. Like I said before, everything is really shiny on it, but because it's quite old, most of the details on it are going to be very basic, and they're probably going to be moulded on. There's very few, well, I'd say very few, there's quite a bit of separately fitted details. Anyway, so the cab's very impressive, I must admit. In there you do have quite a bit of detail. It's just a shame it's not painted. And while we're just there, just the lining on it's really nicely done. You even have, I've actually found out the piping on this is actually red from looking at photos. I didn't realise it was that red, but it is. There looks like there should be a works plate, but it hasn't been printed on. And separately fitted handrails as well, and the lettering's done really nicely. You can see there where I've rubbed my finger across this, I'll just get rid of that. Rivets too, along the smoke box. So just back up the camera a bit, there we go. So no number plate at the front, because it's designed to be the Great Northern Railway version, so they didn't normally have number plates at the front. No sprung buffers. Separately fitted safety valves and whistle, and handrails along there as well. Got the bunker as well, not very realistic Carl, I'd say, but it's an early model, I think we'll let it off. And also a very, very small flange there, obviously meant to go around really tight radius curves. I don't think they had fourth really back then. But anyway, I need to just show you something. You probably already knew this, but if you have a look, I'll bring in Thomas. Pretty much the same chassis, except this one's older, obviously. Yeah, it's Thomas. And here's the J13. Obviously this is an E2 tank, so different to this, but same chassis. Even after all these years, they pretty much use a similar chassis. I think this one's obviously been updated, as the con rods or connecting rods aren't as thick, and obviously it's blue, and there's a bit more underframe detail, but that's about it. Anyway, I'll put my camera on charge. We'll have a look at the model running, because there's nothing much really else I can say about the model apart from a bit of cab roof detail, and that's really about it. So, if you haven't heard me say it already, then you'll hear me say it now. This engine's polarity, I believe they call it, is off, as when I select forwards, as you can see that's selected forwards, it goes backwards. When I select reverse, it goes forwards, and as you can see, it's a very smooth motor. However, it does like to just go off on a whim and start going slower sometimes. I think it's just because of the old motor. Right, so today I'm using some of the cheapo coaches, as it's now widely named, and And if the camera dies all of a sudden, I'm very sorry, I didn't charge the camera. But anyway, we'll see it running. So this is, the reason that I've bought it like this is because I'm modelling 1960s. This engine was preserved in 1959. And I believe it was repainted into this livery. If not, I'm very sorry everyone who's really historically accurate. I haven't actually checked if it was painted in this livery. I believe it was. I don't know. But anyway. Now, there we go. We'll put it up to 40. There you go. How a preserved model should look. Oh, for God's sake. Here's the problem with these coaches. Sometimes the model doesn't respond. They are very nicely closely coupled, but they don't like second radius. So there's it being close coupled. And that actually it doesn't affect the second radius at all. But for some reason, the bogies do not like going around second radius. So I'm going to replace the coach, and then I'll be back and do some artistic stuff. Right, I've slowed it down a bit now. It can go slower, just for some reason it runs very high speed and then sometimes very low speed. So, Hornby Railways J52 / J13, well, this one's a J13. Would I recommend it? Hornby Railways version, this one, yes. Although it's still a very basic model, it's much better than the one that Hornby do now. It obviously uses the more modern version of this chassis, but I believe that there's no separately fitted handrails. I saw a review on Loco Yard and he rated 1247 by Hornby very low. However, I rate this model by Hornby Railways a bit higher, as in the box it did come with Loco crew and the vacuum pipes. I don't know what the other one does, but I definitely know that the other one is mainly put in sets. So thanks for watching my two reviews. Backman James should be the next review. And then a Hornby Class 08, not the railroad version, the super detail one, shall be coming soon. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this review, and goodbye.